The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
A very good evening, our viewers on Facebook and YouTube. It is Face the Nation, and on this episode, I have Honorable Proscovia Salamu Musumba. Abasoga muli mutya mubairenga mumpereza message aba ife mubasulirire And today's episode, we are sitting down with Honorable Salamu Musumba. We are going to be dissecting on issues that are really cardinal to our development as a country, but also to the people of Uganda. I will first welcome her and she says hello to you, and then we shall dive into our discussion of the day. Welcome, Honorable. I am Faridah Bikobere. I am really humbled to have you on this show. We happen to be here every Friday, 5 p.m.
Okay. Lovely. Good to see you, Faridah.
Good to see you, Honorable.
Uliotia.
Ndibukalamu.
Ndibukalamu. Nsimye okubona.
Zena nsimye okwagana.
Viewing us and listening to us, I greet you. I hope you're having a lovely time. I wish you all the best.
I think you can hear Honorable very loud and clear. We shall first, go around PFF. How is PFF?
You will all recall that we had a break in the Forum for Democratic Change, a party that I helped to found a party that I love, the party of my love, the party of my time. But it became inevitable that we had to part ways with it. And its history will be written for a long time. 20 years of resilience, 20 years of sacrifice, and 20 years of struggle for a good cause. But when it hit turbulence, we had to find another political home, a political platform on which to pursue political interests that we love and that we have for a long time pursued. And we will pursue until we get there. And even if we don't get it in our lifetime, we will leave a viable, competitive political platform on which other people, center-right ideology will grow.
Yep.
A political platform that will be a voice for years to come to pursue the ideal that we have invested our time and our lives in. So PFF, call it the Freedom Party,
Yes.
the People's Front for Freedom, is a response to the political times that we face, the challenges that we face as a country,
Yeah.
that we find ourselves actually into a political stranglehold that we must free ourselves from. And so freedom is what we are seeking for as an eye-opener as an opening for democracy. There's no democracy without freedom. So without freedom, there's no democracy to speak about.
Yep.
And so we must go back to the building blocks of democracy. And yes, it is freedom, the People's Front for Freedom. We are fighting for our freedom first before we can exercise democracy in the country.
All right. Listening to Honorable Salamu Musumba, you can hear that she began with a regrettive tone, a sad tone, talking about their support from FDC. But anyways, such things happen when you are in the struggle.
They
but
call
still
it
there's a
actually
struggle.
shit.
Yeah,
Shit
shit happens.
Yeah.
But still the
And so
struggle
shit
continues.
happened, and so we are.
And so you are moving.
Yeah.
A few days ago, we saw Honorable Birigwa, Chairman Birigwa, saying they are facing the backs and offs with EC. You had wanted to register a party, and Electoral Commission is playing ping pongs with you. What exactly is happening?
Electoral Commission has no clear, streamlined guidelines on how to do it, because to register a political party has conditions, which conditions we have fulfilled. Finding 100 people.
Yet the spokesperson, Mchunguzi Julius, says you haven't fulfilled.
You say Mchunguzi, if you were to profile him, you'll have us to go back on how he got the job. When was it advertised, and how did he find himself in the job?
As a spokesperson
as
for
a
Electoral
spokesperson
Commission.
of Electoral Commission. There's a whole story about that, but he should know that we know how he got in there and what mission he's on. And so speaking about us and the conditions that are required, they are quite simple. Finding 100 people to promote the party, and go on with it.
That you did.
That we have done. But they have chosen a validation exercise that is so intimidatory. It coincided with the arrest of Dr. Besigye, with the kidnap of Dr. Besigye, with Dr. Besigye appearing in the General Court Martial, and with all the fear that they have created in the public. And so when they went out to validate, they were intimidating some of the people who put their signatures there and say, are you the one trying to form a party with Besigye? Besigye, who is trying to kill Museveni, who is planning to cause war. And so a public that is unsuspecting, of course, doesn't want to get itself into trouble. But anyway, so what if we didn't have people, 100 of them,
That disqualifies you.
Even it disqualifies us from what? What are they giving us?
From being registered as a legal party.
No, we will fulfill that because it's a requirement.
Yes.
But you cannot expect that we don't have 100 people in a district. We don't, because even in that registration,
Yes.
they have not, the people understood that it was their NIN number. No, it isn't the NIN number. It is another number which you must enter into a computer to generate, to find out.
Oh.
So, you see, the administrative impediments into getting yourself registered are really tight. But a civic exercise like that is militarized.
Now, Honorable, given such a situation, how do we expect the people, the candidates in PFF to participate in the 2026 elections?
Must they?
Well, we thought they should.
And if they don't?
Then it will be a disservice to Ugandans.
So be it. We owe nobody a living.
Don't we see you
We need
people...
a political platform in which you can hear us. Okay? That platform exists virtually. It also exists physically.
Well, then, Honorable, people would think maybe you would just join a political party that is legally registered.
What makes them think? We want a political platform.
Because
you
we
see,
all believe...
a political party and its members must have a central nervous system of how their outlook of a government, of a society is. And so they seek to come together to pursue that.
Yes.
And so we are exactly that political platform of like-minded people with an outlook of how we see society galvanized and organized. What brain do you see in Parliament if you think that is the best place to pursue politics? It's a distorted platform, Parliament, because even we don't know what the majority party thinks.
Yeah.
You have crooks seated in an assembly, parceling out the national assets for themselves. Do you know, for instance, what NUP stands for in that Parliament? What are they pursuing? Which ideology are they pursuing? Do you know what NRM is pursuing, given the policies that they present? Maybe you would think that NRM is about indebtedness.
I hear standing
Looking
for all the
loans
Ugandans that are watching us, we all
every
believe.
day. It is about loans. It's about indebtedness. It is about looking for money to steal. Because if, for instance, you looked at just even Parliament,
Yeah.
they borrowed money for construction of the chambers.
Yes.
These are 10 years now. Is
It
the
is
building finished?
No, it isn't.
And
Not
why?
finished. They are yet to give reasons why
They don't
the
have
construction
to. Listen,
is at that
your
stage.
biggest problem is to think that everything must be reasoned away. When you borrow money for construction of a building, we must see the building.
Yes.
Rocco, a so-called international viable company, is not able to complete anything. It has joined the thuggery of the theft of a nation. So, tell me, what does NRM present as a policy direction for this country, apart from bribery, bad governance, and lack of service delivery? What do they have? What is the alternative policy that the official position is providing? I mean, you can spend all your life trying to fight the thieves.
Yes.
That is just one aspect of representation.
Yes.
But as a party, you must be able to promote your brand in the House, in the Assembly. What is that brand?
The people of NOP are in the better position to answer what they are representing.
No, you
in the
as
House
a citizen,
of the people.
you as a citizen, by now, you should know. Because you've had 4 years.
As a citizen.
4 years as a citizen. Because as a citizen, I want to know, what is the alternative?
As a citizen, we believe the new MPs in Parliament are really representing the
And you
ideologies
see,
of
the biggest
NUP.
problem is in multi-party politics is that we as Ugandans have not understood it. It is the political parties outside Parliament that is the manufacturer of those policies that are then presented to their members of Parliament.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the cooking place, the kitchen of all these policies is the party. So the party should be able to give a party platform. This is what we stand for. This is how we will run a government. Meanwhile, we also have a responsibility to check the government in power. So that dual role must be served. For the time being, it is not.
Okay, Honorable, before we go into the Parliament and the activities that are happening in Parliament, I want to take you back shortly to Electoral Commission. You pointed out how the spokesperson obtained his role as the spokesperson and all the nitty-gritties that happened there that the public doesn't know. Now I would want to hear from you, Honorable. What measures can be taken into place to have an independent and autonomous Electoral Commission that isn't influenced by the government?
What does it take? There are so many examples around the world. For instance, do you know the Electoral Commission of UK?
Yeah, I read about it.
You read about it. It's a professional, world-class agency that has a national duty to deliver a tamper-proof, bulletproof, free, fair, and credible election. And so it does. You know about the one of India? It does so. And that's why you don't hear election petitions in those policies. Okay?
Yes.
So what do? They look out for people whose integrity is beyond reproach. Because institutions are run by people.
True.
Okay?
Yes.
And so those people give credibility to the institutions. Yeah. So if you want an independent one, you must have a public hearing of all the people that have presented themselves as wanting to provide that service to the nation.
Are you insinuating that the EC has incompetent people running an institution?
What does competence mean? It means that you do a job and everybody
Appreciates.
says yes. And so the opposite of that is incompetence.
Is incompetent.
Yes.
So in instances where people are looking at what you are doing.
How can you run an election? Let's look at the Kawempe one. Would you think those are competent fellows? They are not. Even the kids can tell that this is an incompetent electoral commission because they ran away. For instance, before elections, they were bragging how they were in charge, how they were. As soon as the counting started, they all fled. And that's the first sign that shows you that NRM is losing because they work for NRM. When you look at the bench and you see all the commissioners have fled, then you know NRM is not winning. They've done their tally and they're in a hurry to run.
Yeah.
How can an independent electoral commission do that?
It can't. One would say an independent one wouldn't do that, or it might do it.
This is a bogus one. Don't waste my time.
I really want to go back to Parliament.
Yeah.
And hearing about what MPs were saying, talking about term limits, they are proposing that term limits should be put even on MPs, those that have served beyond 2 terms or 3 terms, that they should create space for the young people to also occupy such positions.
Young people, do you know what young means?
Yes.
Young is only an address. It's not a permanent seat.
It's not a permanent position, yes.
It is a phase that you go through in life. I was a youth too.
Yes.
Oh, you forget that.
No, why would
I was
I?
a young person.
Yes.
And a young person is only part of a society. And young people learn from elder persons.
That is true.
Okay? And so you learn and you are groomed into it to become a good leader.
Yes.
You are not born a leader.
That is true.
And out of your ethics, where have you learned leadership of a nation?
I've attended a few leadership schools.
No, sir. No, madam. That is not how running the state is.
How does
It's
learning...
not about being a prefect in primary school. All those things help. But this is heavy-duty leadership.
Okay.
It's not a joke. It's not a gamble. You know, you equate leadership like watching football. You support Man U, the other one supports Man City. No, this is not it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Honorable, with that submission, you still believe affirmative action is relevant?
Affirmative action was defiled, politically defiled.
Who defiled affirmative action?
The women themselves. Because they do not serve that interest anymore. They're just present and being part of the lot. Otherwise, if we had women in their numbers, 1/3 of all elected positions, how come women are still suffering?
Okay.
Dying in maternity without even a mere vitamin K, you know?
Yeah.
Without dedicated theaters to ensure that women don't die in labor. What do they speak about? What have you had women speak about in parliament that concerns their
Women.
sisters? What? They are lost in the crowd. So yes, for presence, for statistics, they are still relevant. But for real change in society, they are part of the lot.
Wow. And a lot of our leaders are really presenting and pushing for affirmative action, and they make the public
affirmative action
believe.
should have been evaluated. It should have been audited. It should be audited every 10 years. Is it
Who is
serving the
supposed to do
purpose?
that?
Parliament has all those mechanisms to do it if it wanted. But it doesn't want. It's just more of the same. Create more districts and create more women and create more space for women visibility, and that's it. But even visibility, I think it's good.
For
I hear.
visibility. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the opposition politics with the political parties. Honorable, looking at the state of the opposition political parties and the issues concerning unity ahead of 2026 elections.
Why do you need unity?
Because you have one offender that you are all fighting. So
No. You see, that happens only when you have a dysfunctional multi-party system. When it's dysfunctional, then you start looking for ways and means of curing the dysfunctionality. If we had left the term limits and the age limits within the constitutional safeguards to longevity, okay, then there would be no need for electoral unity. What is electoral unity for? It is to fight back a leadership that will not allow free and fair elections, isn't it?
Yes.
So that is the response to lack of free and fair elections. But if we had free and fair elections and people had the capacity to choose, to make a decision, and their voices mattered and their votes mattered, they would be the ones to choose.
we wouldn't need unity if we had
because
that.
what is unity for? We have different political agendas. We have different political ideologies. So, if my ideology that I'm selling to the public is not good enough or hasn't been bought this time, I'll try another time. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you are all center-right parties and you want to unite for your center-right ideology, it's okay. If you are socialists and you are pushing your socialist agenda, it is okay.
It is okay.
If you are leftists, as they call them, the social, I mean, it's okay.
It would be okay if
would
you
be
had
okay.
the same ideologies.
But just to say, let us fight this man and throw him out, yes, it is responding to a dysfunctionality.
So people...
So, if you are able to unpack the problem, then you will make a proper prescription for it. But if you're looking at multipartism in its pure form, multipartism is supposed to provide and a response for competing political ideologies to serve the interests of the country.
So those pushing for a sole candidate come 2026 within the opposition,
because they are
it isn't
responding
achievable.
to a dysfunctional multi-party system. And yes, they are right. But that's not the first choice.
What is the first choice?
The first choice is free and fair elections.
Is it achievable to have a free and fair election?
It is achievable if you don't live among thugs like we do.
Now that we live among thugs,
Yeah.
what is the plan?
Clean up the environment as well. Because thuggery has never succeeded anywhere. You're stealing from yourselves. You're stealing your time. You're stealing your opportunity. You're stealing your youthfulness. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you'll not be young forever.
From your submission, what I get is you are not for unity within the opposition.
No,
now,
I am for unity to respond
to the
to a dysfunctionality. But I want us to go beyond that. You know, Ugandans have this bad habit of thinking that that dysfunctionality must be a permanent feature of our lives.
We normalize the abnormal.
Yeah, and that hurts me because we are good people. We are good people, Ugandans. We are among the best people in the world. But we don't love ourselves. We are so mean to ourselves, you know? Very, very mean to ourselves. And so, because we've never had a successful political organization, it has become normalized that abnormality is the way of life. It is not.
Now talking about organization, do you think the opposition is organized and ready for 2026?
It is organized.
Looking at PFF not being legally registered yet to have candidates?
Yes, if it is not organized, it does not stop me from contesting as an independent.
Wow.
Does it?
No, it
That
doesn't.
option is open to me. I don't have to stampede the political world with things that I know will not last. My first choice is to have a political platform, a political home, on which I can then work with the next home. Okay?
Yes.
To achieve community safety. If I don't have a political home, then I must find another way of existing. And so I will exist as an independent for the time being.
For the time being.
Yeah. I can also exist with another party if I find it good enough and able to meet my political
Ambitions.
interests. Okay?
That's okay.
So we will keep negotiating, we will keep searching, and we will keep telling the country that we need a political home. And we have registered to have People's Front for Freedom as that. Is it bad?
It isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't a bad thing. And now talking about coming as an independent candidate, do we hope to see you, Honorable Proscovia Salamu Musumba, eyeing for any electoral position?
I have always been a politician, and I've been a politician for the last 30 years.
Yes.
And it's a choice I have made. Like people choose to be doctors.
Yes.
Do you ask them, will you go to the theater again?
We shall ask them when are they retiring?
When are you retiring? No. This is my choice. This is the platform I've chosen to serve my country in, and I love it.
With your belief, Honorable, aren't you contradicting with Dr. Kizza Besigye, who is saying elections are not going to oust the person that you are fighting, and now you are here ready or preparing to participate in an election which your leader doesn't believe in?
You see, you only listen to half of what he says.
Maybe you think I listen to half, yet I listen to full.
No, you don't. Then you don't understand him. Because I, who has worked with him for the last decades,
yes,
he's saying that elections on their own and by their own cannot remove President Museveni, a military man with a military infrastructure to retain power. You must add activism. You must add. You must add people power, the power of the people, to achieve and consolidate what they want.
Does that mean that as you prepare to go and participate in the elections, you are also preparing other people to come
You
do
must
those
prepare
activities?
the population to safeguard their vote, their interests. And that means you must come out. You don't go and watch your elections on TV. No, you must
Go and
be
safeguard
at
your
the
votes.
space where you have voted and make sure that your vote matters.
Okay.
That's what he tells us.
Wow. I think a lot of us must have listened to Dr. Besigye
You are
in part.
quick. You are quick. Chap, 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 chap.
We are
You know,
quick to...
TikToking.
Maybe it isn't the truth, but maybe he has overspoken the word of elections can't oust the president, and we have all consented on that.
Because you have failed the exam always by answering the wrong questions, because you haven't understood. You must comprehend what is he saying, because he's not a madman. And you should know better. If you don't want this country to make the same mistakes of history, you must listen to him. Now, for you to think that you are sharps, you are wizards, you are what, you can never be wiser than your father.
That is true.
Even when you went to school.
That is true.
And you have a PhD.
Talking about, Honorable, having a free and fair election, now that we see a lot of people are preparing to go and participate in 2026, and a lot of us...
Only one will pass. Even if there are 10 in one position, only one will pass. That's the mathematics of it, isn't it?
Should we call you a prophet of doom?
No. I'm just telling you the basic truth. If you are 10 candidates for a seat,
yes,
how many will pass? How many will succeed?
One will pass, of course. One will succeed.
So what makes all those 9 not understand that? That therefore pick those 9, negotiate with each other, and pick one, so that you consolidate all your small votes into a package that makes sense.
That really indeed makes sense. Now, Honorable, with the reference to what has just happened in Kawempe by-election, the violence and all that, we would really want to listen. How prepared are you ahead of 2026 elections, with an example that has just been given?
But you see, elections have always been violent, but that they have been in phases. They were violent in Kasese. They were violent in northern Uganda. They were violent in Teso, in all the regions. Now you talk about it because now it's on the doorstep.
Should we now say you have gotten used to it? It is normal?
It's not normal. We must fight back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you planning to fight back?
We will.
You have plans you don't want to unpack right now.
When you are on First Generation, we have no choice.
You have
no choice but to fight back, because the military that we renamed Uganda People's Defense Forces is now the aggressor. It is supposed to be subordinate to civilian authority. It is now on top of us, and we will not let it happen.
Questions are coming in, so I'll be going through my phone. It is not disrespect. I'm looking for questions from the viewers. That's
the new book.
What is your plan if they don't register you as a political party?
Oh, I've already told you that we will join another party.
Are you already eyeing anyone?
That gives us, our leaders are in high gear negotiating and discussing that. If we don't join any other, we will be choosing which independent positions we take and what we do. We are not short of options.
You are not short of options?
Not at all. We are not stranded.
Though you are first pushing for the first option.
You see, we need to have, and it is in the interest of even the NRM to deal with an organized party.
Yes.
Because you know who to talk to on the other side of the road.
Well, okay, that is noted. What is your take on General Muhoozi's conduct and comments about politics?
It's of a spoiled child. Yeah, just a spoiled child.
We are talking about a CDF general.
Yeah, but he's always talking about his father.
You are addressing him as a child.
Yes, a spoiled child who's also always running back to his father. Hey, father, my dad, the greatest. That's what spoiled children do.
Do you take his tweets serious?
Yes, I do.
Do you feel threatened somehow if he tweets something and then after a while he pulls it down?
You see, it's laughable. We spend hours laughing and thanking God. And thanking God.
Thanking God
that
for
we
what?
have a spokesperson who communicates what they discuss at the dinner table to the rest of the world. How else would you have known if it wasn't for God? You know, God can put madness in your head, yeah, and exposes you. Whatever you carry, go back and look at the Bible. You will find episodes of that.
Some people think or believe that his tweets are denting the international relations of Uganda and some other countries. Do you also believe so? Now that you even term him as a child.
Well, if the world didn't know that this was Museveni's son, they now know.
A son that is grown now. He's a man.
Because us, when we were telling you that, listen, this country is facing a presidential succession plan, you said we were mad. Now we don't even want to speak about it because it's out there for all of you to see. They want to bequeath the territory and the people of Uganda to Museveni II. There's also a Museveni III, if you don't know yet.
Who is Museveni III?
I know.
You may.
So it is a dynasty,
Okay.
as it has been rumored to be. It is a serious thing.
It
So
is already
don't
created.
look on these petty things, tweets, what. I'm not a tweet commentary. No, I'm deeper than that. I know what's going on. But you are kids, you don't know what's going on. You have no clue, and I don't want to waste my time with you. I don't.
Now talking about...
I want to talk to serious people who know statecraft, who understand the threats we face as a country. This is not a joke. It's not a joke. You cannot give control of killer machinery, of a killer infrastructure into an unstable mind. You can't.
That is a big statement, Honorable, to make
It
about
is.
the person of the CDF.
Yes, he's not stable. Because a CDF is a serious job. The things he tweets about are things that the Ministry of Defense, the Minister for Defense, only is allowed to comment about. Because remember, the Constitution says the army will be subordinate to civilian authority.
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
Now, talking about Mhozi's tweets, I want to go into the issue of transition, power transition. Now that we have a constitution that is open, it has no term limits, it has no age limits. Now, we would want to hear your take on the power transition now that we are headed into an election process.
Transition, that's why we made a 1995 constitution, was to make sure that Uganda never gets into the situation we
are in now.
Yeah.
But now that we are here, how do we get out of here?
Go back to where you got lost. When you are walking in Kololo here and you find yourself lost, the wise thing is to go back to your starting point.
Yeah.
Not to manga all over the place, talking stuff. Oh, I'm going here. No. Go back to your GPS, to the first
from
location,
where you started from.
Yeah, where the rain beat you from. You see, we have an entrenched leadership now. If you've been in power for a generation, 40 years, it means you have become entrenched. There are things that you control from your house, from your bed. And you have put people in positions that now they think they own, bequeathed to them. And so a transition becomes difficult. The best way to deal with it is to negotiate.
Yeah.
Allow a time to correct what went wrong, a transitional period, and then go back to what should have been
Right. At the
right
time.
at the time. And so you must negotiate.
Talking about negotiations, do you think the opposition is ready to go into power negotiations with the government?
Is government ready to negotiate its way out?
There is a question that you should have put on the table if
Is-
you are ready to go into power negotiations
We
with
have
them.
been at this. When were you born? We've been in this since 2006. There have been discussions about transition, and we already have a blueprint of a transition. We have discussed this. We know it by heart. I can tell you how long it will take, who needs to be on the table, and what needs to be discussed to correct and mend what has gone wrong.
Okay.
Without bloodletting, without violence. And if we want to negotiate that, the people are willing from my side of Echirasha.
From the opposition side.
Yes.
Now the people in the government are the ones that are
They
willing
think
to go
they are
into
big
power.
chest thumping, and as the country disintegrates.
Should we think that they are afraid of what might befall of them if they
And that's
get
the
out of
reason,
power?
that is the reason they need to negotiate themselves out peacefully. If they don't, they'll be thrown in the dustbin of history.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
And the appetite has grown every day.
the appetite of them.
Yeah, of dumping them into the trash bin.
And people would say they are also finding ways of making themselves stronger in those
And
positions.
that is where the trouble spot is. That is exactly where the clash will happen. If you don't see what I see, and I've lived long enough to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a few minutes to the end of the show. I'll still go through your comments on the live show, or you can engage in our discussion on X by hashtagging the Face the Nation on Facebook. We are at the Alternative Uganda and TikTok TV, and on YouTube we are streaming live at the Alternative Uganda. Use the comment section. I'll be going through the questions and I'll be reading them to Honorable Salamu Musumba, and she will have a word or two to respond to those questions as we close our show for today. One question towards the end of our show is Honorable, could you point for us those things you achieved during your tenure as a parliamentarian and as the LC5 chairperson?
Well, I'll start with being the chairperson of a district. It's a job I loved most. I loved it because every day I was in contact with the people of Kamali, and I lived with them, and I understood their pain, and I understood their aspirations. And that's why they elected me as the first woman chairman in the whole of Eastern Uganda.
Yeah.
From River Nile at Jinja to River Nile. So they had a lot of trust in me.
Okay.
And I loved the job I did. I was able to give them hope. I was able to touch their lives every day. My biggest goal was to put a smile on people's faces every day.
Every day.
And I did that. I found so many things had gone so wrong for so long that
Kamali
just
district.
putting order and ending the fights, the infights, was a big achievement. I was able to earn them position number 2 as a very effective leader in the local government. I meet so many kids that are so happy with me that I was able to recommend them, to give them recommendations without them buying them. Because just to recommend them to go to KIU to study, to go to all universities and tertiary institutions where there were bursaries and bursaries were being sold, okay,
Yes.
or retained or not even being processed. And so I left a very satisfied person as a chair, and they still plead with me
To go and
to go
stand.
back and be a chair. I also learned a lot about why we have an ineffective local government.
Local government.
Yes. And that's why I aspire to correct them, and the place to correct them is in Parliament.
Is in Parliament.
Because 3/4 of the people in Parliament don't even know what a local government, how it works and how it doesn't work.
Most of
They have no clue whatsoever.
Yes.
They just hear things and they don't know. But I went there to learn
how
and
the
to
local
be able
government
to
operates.
respond and to understand where the failure is and be able to fix it.
Yeah.
I fixed the health centers, the health infrastructure, because we have a fantastic health infrastructure in Busoga. The whole of Busoga has a fantastic health infrastructure. But upgrading it, bringing it to the 21st century and to provide the first 21st century service to the people.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I wanted that. I actually worked in two areas. That's where I put my concentration, because I only had 3 years. I had gone through a by-election.
Yeah.
So education too. I can tell you what is wrong with education in the rural places.
In the rural places.
And what needs to be fixed. But you need to be in a position of leadership to be able to fix
what is wrong
what
in
is
those
wrong
positions.
in those positions, because it is a function of failure.
Yes.
You cannot fix it as an individual.
It is within the system.
It is system inbuilt.
Okay.
So I know, and human resource is the biggest thing, the game changer. When you know, if you've diagnosed the problem and you're able to fix it, I'll use the experience I had in Kamali for 3 years to be able to fix for an entire country.
Okay.
Now, as a member of parliament,
Yes.
and that's why you always refer to in this country the 6th and 7th parliaments, because they were first class. We were the first team to implement a new constitution. And we wanted a successful country, a viable democracy, a competitive country. And so everything that the constitution had left to parliament to fulfill,
Yes.
we were doing so. And we set up the parliamentary commission. This parliamentary commission you see being abused,
Yes.
being misused, we set it up. And we set it up as a very professional, knowledge-based entity. We wanted it to be the reference point for good governance.
Yeah.
Never was it ever envisaged that you would ever have a service award. It's the biggest scandal
That has ever happened in history.
that ever happened, befell a parliament of any nation.
Well,
And so, I am proud that wherever I've
You were
worked,
part of those
that wherever
parliaments.
I've worked, I've left a footprint of better service delivery, of proud service to a nation. And I'll go to my grave very, very happy that when I had the time to serve my nation, I did it to the best of my ability and for posterity to be proud of. Okay. When you read what I've done, when you read my biography and all the things that I'm telling you, you will know that there lived a girl from Busoga,
an iron lady,
an Amwendwa girl called Knight Proscovia Salamu Musumba.
Well, someone had sent in a question requesting you to contrast for us your parliament that you were part of and the current parliament.
Oh, the parliament we were part of was a parliament of statesmen and stateswomen. It wasn't a parliament of boys and girls. No. If you didn't know a subject, you didn't speak. You went back, read, understood, and made, contributed to a debate from knowledge
From uninformed
not
point
from
of view.
rumor mongering. Oh, this and this.
I
never,
heard,
never,
they
never.
told
I
me.
had. I don't know, but you don't know.
I'm
Then
not
what?
sure.
I am not sure. You know, people start stand up and say, Madam Speaker, I don't know. Then shut up. If you don't know, shut up. Sit down, please. You know. So we were also learning from the best breed of people.
Yes.
Very seasoned people who we respected and who respected themselves.
And who respected the house.
They respected themselves and respected governance and respected the house. They knew the honor it was to serve the people of Uganda from a national assembly. It was not a job to them. It was service to the nation. So this idea that, oh, you people have been long enough there, leave. I would today want to have Okule Park in that house, even on a wheelchair. I would love to have Manuel Pinto in that house. I would love to have Eli Karuhanga in that house.
In the house.
Abenego Ngoma, I would love Dick Nyai. I would love Ben Wacha any day. Because listen, a nation is looking for builders.
Yes.
Not jokers.
Where would these people you are mentoring go? Because the Ben Watcher is mentoring people. You have mentored people. Rebecca Kadaga has mentored people.
You don't mentor a person who doesn't want to be mentored. You see?
Yeah.
Nobody mentored me.
You are
I
self-made.
mentored myself because I used to watch the best of debaters and I would just marvel. I will tell you, we did not become who we are just by being there. We worked, we carried people's documents, you know?
Yeah.
We wrote for people's speeches. We went through the grilling experience and mentoring and tutelage of people. Say, the Honorable Elia Kategaya says, I want you to write this speech for me. You go pick it and take it back. There was no internet, you know, there were no SMS. It was manual. I walk to UDC, pick the speech in manuscript, come back, type it in WordPerfect 5, take it back. He corrects it and I bring it back.
Yeah.
Idea, that takes time, it takes discipline, it takes respect, which you don't have.
As the young generation.
Unfortunately. You think you can jump, hop and skip and become. And when you fall, you never recover. That's why many of the young people, when they lose elections, they are dead.
Someone just said that Honorable is contradicting herself after you wanting for Honorable Kadaga to retire, and then you are saying you would wish to have an end in Parliament.
You don't even understand. We are saying, Honorable Kadaga, get off the affirmative seats.
Oh.
You don't get it.
Well, I was really
Go pick up any man there and trounce them. You're big enough. So what is the contradiction there?
It has made clear.
That's why people need to think deeper and even understand deeper before they meh.
Well, thank you, Honorable Proscovia Salamu Musumba. I've been really humbled to have you on this show, The Face the Nation. May you say your parting shots.
I wish we had a better Uganda. I wish a better Uganda for you people. I wish a better Uganda for my grandchildren. I wish a better Uganda in this 21st century. A Uganda that works for all of you, for all of us. Because I'd like to occupy that position of a reference now. But we must first mend what has gone wrong. Because many of the young people don't understand where the rain started beating us. And so, we don't want to leave a vacuum of problems to a nation which doesn't know how to pick them out. You can read about them, but it's different when you have lived them.
Yeah, true.
When you have lived them. And I would want you to listen to to many people and learn from them before they pass on. Take your time and learn. That is what makes us good, my generation, because we had ears and we learned so much. That's why you even are still interested in wanting to hear from me. If I had nothing to offer, surely you would never look me up. But also to wish you a better future.
Thank you so much.
A world-class future.
Thank you.
Without floods, without thugs, without thieves, and with the best health service and education service, because that is what makes you a world class.
We take that with an amen. And I want to thank you for joining us today. That has been the episode of Face the Nation for this Friday. See you next Friday. Have yourself the greatest weekend.
Thank you.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.